March 25th, CPC is having a play date in the gym. So if you're unaware, if you go out the sanctuary, on the other side, there's a little hallway, and the gym is back there. They'll do bounce houses, lots of fun. There'll be coffee for moms. It's from 9 to 11. So come at any time, even if you can come for 30 minutes, bring a friend. You can have some coffee while your kids play. All right, baptisms and dedications are March 27th, so this weekend. I don't think it's too late for you to sign up if you wanted to baptize your child or if you want to get baptized. They're doing it at the 9 and 10:45 services. So again, there's a link in the highlights. So you can go to cpcdanville.org and get more information there. All right, we're halfway through. United Night of Worship is March 27th. So save the date. It's at 5 p.m. And it's an opportunity to bring your whole family in here at the CPC Sanctuary to connect, glorify God through worship and prayer. And then afterwards, they're going to have a bunch of food, drinks. There's going to be dessert trucks and fire pits, so it sounds really fun. So make sure to save the date for that. And then this year, CPC is doing a 4 scholarship. So if you have a high school student in your life, you know a high school student that's graduating this year, CPC is accepting applications for the scholarship fund from graduating seniors in the San Ramon Valley. So students are invited to submit any form of expression that conveys how being for others can change the world. 4 students from the San Ramon Valley Unified School District will be granted $3,000 in scholarships. CPC will be donating $12,000 in total across 4 scholarships. So students that want to apply, they have until midnight on April 17th. And again, there's more info in the highlights if you want to pass that along to somebody or you have a child that wants that. Awesome. All right, CPC membership class is May 18th. This is on Zoom. It's from 6:30 to 8. This is for if you have been interested in joining the church, if you have questions. It's really kind of an info session, so there's no obligation if you join the Zoom to join the church. It's just a time for you to get to ask questions, learn about CPC's history, the theology, and what we are all about. So again, there's a sign up, cpcdanville.org, or you can go in the highlights. All right. Oh, wait, that's too far. That's later. Okay, perfect. So now the fun begins. We get to start. So we are so excited. I don't know if any of you have joined us the last time we did this, but it's so incredible, and we're so lucky to have Erin Schwartz here today from Acre Farm, Floral. Erin is a lover of Jesus, family, friends, and flowers. She also loves traveling, babies, music, gardening, puppies, hiking, and the ocean and mountains. She has an awesome nature and adventure-loving husband and 2 fantastic adult kids who live in Missouri and Nashville. Please help me welcome Erin.
Hi, girls. How are you this morning? Hi, you guys. I'm so happy to see you. Last time I came, I had the privilege of being introduced to Caitlin and getting a wedding out of this whole shindig, so it was kind of fun. So it was super exciting, so I'm happy to see them again. So I'm going to make a bouquet today, like a bridal bouquet. And I'm just going to kind of talk to you guys a little bit about flowers and what I do and that whole thing. So I started my business in 2015 when my daughter went to college. Actually, excuse me, that was 2016. And I hadn't ever really thought I wanted to do anything else other than be a mom. That was all I ever wanted to be. So having this experience of moving into owning my own business and then doing tons of weddings and stuff like that was really great for me because I needed a place to kind of go to when I was missing my daughter because she was moving across the country. So it just has kind of spurred 7 years later into something quite large that I really never foresaw. And I, in all honesty, thought, how in the heck am I going to do this? Because my husband was a business owner, but I knew how to design and I had learned and I had worked for somebody and done that whole thing. And so I kind of thought maybe I could do this, but then I really was like, oh gosh, now I'm really doing it. So it was really fun, but it was also really scary. And I think the biggest lesson I've learned so far is just keep putting one foot in front of the other and just moving it. You don't have to know all the answers. They will find you, and you'll figure it out along the way. I'm going to play and prep as I talk to you guys. I was going to talk something about kind of changing into a new season. I'm in a new season now where both my kids are out of the house and they live across the country, and my husband and I, and it's my husband and I. And I'm like, I like you, but who are you? And like, we have to do, like, it was like dating again, you know, kind of from the beginning. But it's been exciting and it's been fun, and I really thought that it would be something that I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it, but it's been really sweet, our time together. So I was going to talk about that, and maybe I'll touch on it again, but I have to be honest with you, my armpits are sweating. I'm a little nervous. My house is disheveled right now. We're getting our hardwood floors like refinished, and I'm living out of my bedroom and my workstation, which is like my flower studio and my barn, and my husband works from home too, and he's a mechanic, so he does car work. So I just feel like disorganized. So I thought maybe I'd just talk about feeling disorganized and how I kind of move through that, because sometimes that feels really unsettling, especially for me, who's very somewhat type A, really organized, on top of things. I like my house in a certain way, and it doesn't look like that at all right now. And so I just was like, maybe I will just talk about what I do to encourage myself and maybe encourage you along the way. I don't know. I hope I do. When I feel overwhelmed like that, I tend to really just get into the Word or listen to praise music, because it makes me feel at peace, and it makes me feel like I can be, like God's closer to me in a sense, because I'm just going at it at my own pace, and sometimes I stop and I'm like, what's going on? I feel super overwhelmed. So it's hard having kids across the country, I'm gonna say that. It's hard having kids at any age, actually. When they're little, they're with you all the time, and you love them, and it's fun, but at the same time, you wanna go hide in your bathroom because they're driving you crazy or you need a timeout. But at the same time, then you have adult children, and they kind of drive you crazy too, because they come to you with all their drama. And that's my daughter. My son is like, hardly says anything. I'm like, are you alive, pal? Like, where are you? I haven't heard from you. Meanwhile, I've heard from my daughter like 17 texts all day. But that could be the difference between a boy and a girl. It's hard not having my kids, because my kids are really important to me. My family is really important to me. So when I miss them, I just get on a plane and I go see them, which I'm gonna do tomorrow. So one thing I will read to you that I read this over myself pretty much daily, because it just brings peace to me. And it's in Isaiah 33:2. O Lord, be gracious to us. We long for you. Be our strength every morning, our salvation in times of distress. And then I put it into like a prayer for myself that I could just kind of pray over me. And it goes like this: God, please be gracious to me. I need you. Be my daily strength. I am yours, and this day is yours. And I just pray that over myself sometimes, or over my kids. I tend to send them verses each week so that they are encouraged, and it just kind of brings me a calm. And then when I'm feeling like that, it brings me comfort. So, but I'm excited to be here and to share with you guys. And I think is there a clip? Oh, here's the clicker. I see that there's some pictures. I was just going to show you a couple things that I'd done recently. This was a wedding bouquet I think I had I had my first wedding in February this year, actually. So this was her color choices. This is a fall wedding in Washington State in October. It was actually my cousin and his bride. That was really fun to go flower that wedding. It was super rainy and cold as usual up there, but it was beautiful, and I love when brides aren't afraid to use like bright pops of color, because you see the blush and the green and the light pinks and that kind of thing, but it's really fun to be bold in your colors. And here's another one. This was another bridal bouquet for this last year. So during the pandemic, I didn't have anything. It was, we all didn't do anything except stay home and play with our kids and our dogs and all that. So this last year's been really nice because I got to work again, and that was really great. And I think that might be all. Oh no, here's another one. So there you go, the few ones. But during the pandemic, there was a lot of, as we have all felt, there was a lot of, what am I going to do now? Like, what are we going to do today? What are we going to eat today? I'm super tired of cooking. So I planted a garden. And my dad's total green thumb. He's great in the garden and everything, and he can grow anything. And I was like, I don't know about this, Dad. So I just started planting things, and miraculously, I can grow things, surprisingly. With water and Jesus, you can do anything, really, in truth. But it became therapeutic for me because I planted stuff, and then I would just go out. My husband didn't put it on like timers or water. I would just go out and water every night, and it was so beautiful in the summer. It was quiet, and the butterflies would come, and it was just one of the greatest things that came out of COVID, I will say, because that garden is humongous now. Gonna start planting some more dahlias next week, and I'm able to use a lot of the product that I grow in my floral arrangements for weddings, which was important to me to be able to do. So let's see here. Am I laying what? Oh, there is tape, yep. And I will wrap that, so what I usually do in order to kind of prepare for a bouquet is I prep my greenery. Actually, I prep all my floral, so I lay it all out. That way I can just grab it, because I only have one hand really to work with, and then I have this one that's holding everything. So I kind of make a claw, I'll show you. But then I will wrap it with tape, but I'm just getting all my greenery together and some filler floral as well.
How do you prep it? Like, does that mean removing the floral?
All stems are removed, so there's no stems in the water like you'll see. When we have stems in the water, that tends to make things stinky and smelly. Plus, it's just cleaner when we don't have anything in the water. When you play with these later, so I got you kind of like some carnations and some delphiniums. The little daisy-like flowers are chamomile. And then we have some lisianthus that's laying on the table. And then we also have some wax flower. But when you want to open your carnation like this. Like carnations have a bad rap, I will tell you that. They are kind of boring because you only see like the white ones or whatever. But there are some fantastic colors, and this is a really great one. So you just kind of open it up like this when you do it. But we'll just prep some of this. I thought I'd just kind of open it up and ask if you guys have any questions. I tend to do better being asked questions along the way, and then I can give you tips. I get my flowers from my rep in San Francisco, Brannan Street, and I pick up sometimes twice a week. Usually on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they'll deliver to Los Gatos, because I'm in Santa Cruz, so they'll deliver to Los Gatos, and it's fabulous. it's not, the delivery charge is nothing, and it's really easy. And then sometimes local florals that I'll get, I try to do as local as possible if it's not from my yard, but like roses and stuff. There's a flower farm down in Santa Barbara that I order from, and they send me roses overnight. Yeah. So let's see.
What are those greeneries that you're cutting right now?
So this is actually from my yard. My gardener, I told him, I said, plant anything that I can use in flower arrangements. And he did, and I use it all the time. So it's great. So this is called Pittusporum. It's a version. There's a couple different kinds, but I like this one the best. It's just dainty and light. Okay, so here we go. I also brought some dried florals that I might throw in if I feel inspired to use them. But I usually just kind of start like this. And I usually always work alone a lot, which is great, and I don't mind. Hi, my favorite person's here. My cousin. Yay. Let's see. So yes, I work alone in my barn, but I need to hire somebody because I am so busy. I'm not gonna be able to do it all this year. So I'm looking for people to help, which is, I have to say, kind of difficult because it's hard to trust people with your work and hoping that they'll do it like you. I am. I do a couple. So in 21, there was a lot of makeup weddings. In this year, there's 2. And then I had a couple cancel still because they didn't feel comfortable having, which I don't know why, but I'm like, everybody's going out and living again. Come on, people. So this is dried Italian ruscus. It's usually like green. It's really super pretty, but they dry it, and it's really fun to use, and it kind of adds just another texture. So we're gonna do this.
Do you have a favorite stall at the barn or a favorite vendor that you like to support them?
I usually work with Brannon Street.
Okay.
And Brannon Street sold, well, they didn't sell, but they got bought out so it's Mayesh now. And so they're my favorite. I do like them. Yeah. Why are they or everybody?
Just that. I mean, if they're the most beautiful choices, worth it. In your opinion.
Yes, because I think the rapport that I have with my rep now, I've just, truth be told, I've never met her. We do everything on talking at like 6 a.m. or email.
And then she gets it for you ahead of time and promises you what you needed.
Yes, or she calls me and she's like, I can't get this in. We can do this, here's a substitute or whatnot, but yeah. I probably should branch out a little bit, but sometimes I don't want to, because if everything's going all right, then, yeah. I do trust her, yeah. So I also have usually when I'm doing this, I have a big mirror right here, so then I can go like this and look at it. So I'll be turning it around and looking at myself, but. So something like that. Usually. Ribbon, flowers, tons of vases.
Do you go get vases from a certain place?
I do, or I don't really have a favorite vase spot. Well, Accent Decor is okay, but you order online, but there's a vendor in San Jose that I go to and get stuff. But I have to say, just like everything else in the pandemic, everything's on back order, and there are so many things that I can't get. There were certain things I wanted to get for today that I couldn't get. And then there were certain things I got for today that I had to send back because I didn't like it. So, So once I get to this point, which is like greenery and a little filler, then I will start plugging in some of my other pieces my other flowers pieces that I might like that one, like that. So what would you say is, I'm gonna ask you guys a question. What would you say is the hardest part right now of being a mom? Or that you're struggling with, or that you're really enjoying even too? If nobody has anything, that's okay. Messes? Yeah. Always. Scheduling at school. Well, when you have kids who are in like multiple sports and there's two of you, you're like, I don't know, that third kid or that fourth kid, they're gonna be hosed. I mean, what are you gonna do? So it's like call in the grandparents or something to come and help you out. Schedules are hard. Definitely. So this is, I'll tell you what I'm using so far, so you kind of have a little idea. I like that there. This is snapdragons. We have some stock, and then we have what you guys have also, which is some wax flower. And we try to make things stick up. I don't like to design that whole roundy moundy. That's not me. I like wild and kind of messy. My mom probably will never see this, but today's her 70th birthday, so hi, Mom.
What's your trick with hydrangeas? Sometimes I'll buy hydrangeas and they'll be great, and then sometimes I'll buy them and then
They're
they keep
terrible.
wilting after.
A day, barely a day, or that night. So take off all the stems, take off all the leaves. When we don't, then the water goes to everything instead of just the flower, trying to keep it alive. Also, as soon as you cut them, immediately put them in water. They love water, like lots of water. And another tip, if they do droop, stick them upside down in water for a couple hours, and then they should revive after you turn them back over. So actually fully submerge them in a bucket of water. Yeah. Yep, the flower itself. Does that make sense? Yeah, flowers, sometimes certain ones are hard to keep alive, and grocery store flowers are, I like to stick with one kind and make, instead of just having like the mixture that they have. Like if you go to Trader Joe's, they all have one kind. Just keep one kind in a vase. Like if you have all hydrangeas and then you have all tulips. It's just cleaner. I like that look, but even making a bouquet, and in all honesty, sometimes I'll go to Trader Joe's and make a bouquet because they have really good flowers. So this is Lysianthus. I'm gonna pop this in. You guys have some on your table as well. So sometimes also I will, I'll get to a point where I need to wrap as I go because it's getting to be too much. So that's what I'm gonna do now, because teeth come in handy when you have to flowers and no other hands. And feel free, ladies, if you want to play with your flowers while I play with flowers, that's fine. What you have there is, I hope some of you guys have some clippers. But I always clip as I go as well. It helps from keeping the stems, and they get all wrapped up too much. So then we're gonna pop in some of these ruffly beauties. These are ranunculus. And then I also have some sweet peas. And these sweet peas are actually brown. They dye them, which is kind of crazy. I don't always love it, but to get what you want, sometimes it's fun to do like a fun color like that. So I usually pop in dainty things like this last. So we'll keep just popping things in. We like to have some things tucked in and some things kind of up and out. And I mean, if you look at that, it looks like a rose, kind of, right? Because I didn't bring any roses today. This is a ranuncula. Yeah, yeah. I've only had one bad experience with a mother of a bride. No. Oh. You do? So it was a few years ago down in Carmel, and this woman, I had met, they were from Santa Cruz, and I had gone to meet them at their house, and it was, I think the mother had a specific something that she wanted for her daughter, which was she wanted her daughter to have the exact same kind of bouquet that she had. Which is fine in a sense, but at the same time, you also want your daughter to have her own something that... So the daughter and I were on the same page because she and I had talked more, but when I delivered the bouquet that day, the mother pulled me aside and she said, "This isn't what we talked about." And I said, "This is what your daughter and I talked about." It's the same she wanted like this cascading thing with orchids all the way down, and the daughter was like, "I don't want that. I want it cascading, but I don't want it all the way to the ground." And I was like, okay, so the daughter was happy, and the mother was probably not very happy, but I didn't care because it was the bride I was making happy, so that's like my only, and I did have another bride who was kind of stinky right in the beginning, but if I don't hear back from them with flower pictures or whatnot, or from the photographer, then I'm like, maybe they weren't happy. But I am my own worst critic, in all honesty. I critique myself. Like right now, I'm like, no, this isn't great, but it's okay, you know, so it's I think we can be our own worst critics, especially like in our jobs or whatever we're doing or working on. You know, I have to remind myself that it's still beautiful. Even if it's not like exactly what I had envisioned in my head, it's still great and beautiful. So I can't be stinky like that to myself. So a lot of times now what I'll do is I'll take it in front of a mirror like this, and I'll kind of rearrange. And right now I'm just like, you guys are my mirror. So you have to be like this way more, or this way more. But I popped in some of this dried bunny tail, because I think it adds a different neat element. And then I'll probably, like cluster in some of these, our smaller bunny tail, out here to the side. So I wrapped it with this like thin tape, but then when I get closer to really being done, I will take it. Nope. Because I do this all the time. There's always in between your legs too. Do any of you ladies have a garden? Or like to be in the garden? Some? Yeah? What are some of your guys' favorite flowers? Ranunculus? Yeah. They're easy to like. They're actually not that difficult to grow. If you find them, they're a bulb, so they're not difficult to grow. Right now I have growing in my garden sweet peas that I did from scratch, which makes me so proud of myself sometimes. And I have so many dahlias that I'll put in the ground next week, like so many, it's insane. And they thrive in my backyard because they love the hot. And I grow vegetables, lots. Tomatoes, zucchini, squash, lettuce, cilantro. That's what's in the garden now, yeah. So these kind of look dead, but they're not. They're just the way they're supposed to look. My favorite flower is a sweet pea. So much so that I tattooed it on my leg. It's also the birth month. It's also the flower my kids have. Their birth flowers are on my leg, so that's why I did that. So my daughter's an April birthday, and my son is a March, and so he's a daffodil. See that? So when I was taught to design, I've taken a few workshops over the course of the years. When I was really learning, I would do tighter. So I learned to loosen up and like kind of let things just be a little more free. And one woman I took a workshop from, she said, you want it to feel like a bird can fly through your bouquet. And I was like, all right, that's kind of cool. Like they might land here and then take off or something like that, so. She was better than I, because she's like this major professional, but I'm like, over the years, I'm like, yeah, maybe that looks like a bird would want to fly in there. So, let's see here. Probably, at this point, I get to, if I really like it, which I do, I will probably add one more little something. And then I'm going to start to wrap it. With my trusty tape. Sometimes these get really heavy. So you gotta have like, kind of show off the bride's muscles. I always ask her if she wants something heavy or something on the lighter side. I don't like where you are though. And then we'll pop some of these in. So at this point, I'm usually done with it because I'm happy with the way it looks. So a bouquet, a typical wedding will take me, depending on how many pieces there are, I usually get floral for a wedding. I'll get floral on Thursday, pick it up, prep it all. I'll do boutonnieres, corsages, prep all the centerpieces, and then the next day is like always bouquets, finishing up centerpieces, any large pieces that need to be prepped, and then day of, it's packing up the car, like Tetris is sometimes hard, and getting to the venue and then building on site. So sometimes I have to build on site. So I'll show you back this one. Oh, there I am. It's me. In my yard. Oh, here's another one. This actually is at a wedding in Chaminade. My husband and I got married here, and it doesn't look this way anymore, but it's still really pretty. And I have a very humongous wedding here this year, and I'm super excited about it. Oh, and here's another one at the beach. But this arch was so difficult. It's really easy to put up, but it was so windy on this beach this day that I had a helper, and we had to anchor it into the ground so it wouldn't blow over, because that's my worst fear, is that if it's windy or something, it's gonna blow over and hit somebody in the head, like the bride or something. Oh, here's my family. That's my son, Will. He's 21. And then my daughter, Alana, is on the end. Alana is the one who lives in Nashville. She went to Belmont University. And oh, you are? Very exciting. I'm going tomorrow. She graduated in the pandemic, and that was really hard because she didn't get a graduation. And that was a lot of tears. Just like everybody else had lots of tears. So actually last year in 21, they did a redo graduation, so my husband and I went out. It was still fun, but it wasn't the same. But by the grace of God, Alana got a job in the music industry. And that was her major was music business. So she wants to be like that person who is the go-between between the songwriter and finding the artist. and so music publishing. I'm so proud of her. She doesn't have her creative, like her dream job right now, which she shouldn't because she's only 20, almost 24. But she's just doing really well. I'm super excited to go see her. She's thriving. Nashville's a fantastic city. If you've never been there, I highly suggest you go. You don't have to love country music to go. And then my son, his name is Will. He came home during the pandemic after he had been away and came home to finish school. And then he went to a junior college in San Jose, and then he got a full scholarship into a school in Missouri, and he's playing football right now for them. And so he's, like, Missouri's kind of, there's nothing really to do in Missouri, but he's just focused on football and school. So I haven't seen him in 2 months, so I'm very excited to see him. Because he's with his sister right now in Nashville, because it's his spring break. And then my sweet husband used to own a business in Santa Cruz. He's a mechanic by trade, but he sold his business right before the pandemic, which was also a blessing. And he now works part-time from home. We have a lot of time together, and so sometimes I'm like, I think I'm gonna go away for a little while. I wanna go, cause like they go away and they go to work and you don't hear from them and you miss them and you wanna talk about your day. But the other night we were eating dinner and I'm all, dude, we've seen each other all day. I don't have anything I wanna talk to you about right now. Like, that's the thing that's the hardest thing. I'm just like, so that is a hard thing I will say right now. So I do miss him going to work. If your husbands go to work, enjoy them, gone. Because then they come back and you're like, hey, how's your day? But meanwhile, like, it's fine. We'll figure it all out.
What's the farthest you've ever traveled?
Farthest I've done a wedding for is in Hawaii.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you got your flowers there?
So I had all my flowers from Maesh shipped to Hawaii, and I picked them up at the airport. And yeah, it was a little stressful. And then I had a bunch of stuff that I shipped myself. So like candles and vases and stuff like that never arrived. That came back to my house on the porch like a month and a half later. And I had to pay for them again to ship because they brought them back. So I was scrambling trying to find vases and stuff at Target or Ross or something. It all worked out. It was all beautiful. So yeah, and then Washington State this last year, I went up there to do a wedding. And then if I don't have my own wedding, I try to freelance for some people. I have a really good friend in Nashville who I went and helped with her, a big, huge wedding she had in the fall. So what I'm doing right now is I'm just tying it. Like, this is how I would present it to the bride. But I have this really beautiful ribbon, silk ribbon, from a company that I really love. I love their product. It's called Tano & Company. And sometimes I just kind of lace it like this. A lot of times it depends on the bride if they want that style of the long drapey, ribbon. That's really in. But then also I sometimes keep them short too. That always works. Or we don't even show ribbon. But it's always wrapped with the ribbon, but you would never see it. Always trim on an angle. It's just prettier. There you go. Thank you. So, one of you beautiful ladies was getting this. There, under a chair, is a piece of taped, it says, What do we do? Where are we at? Women's, sorry. So if you have something taped to your chair, this is yours. You're welcome. You're welcome. Oh.
Ready, set, and hold on. Yeah.
So we're gonna have you pose later, and we're gonna like make you pretend like you're a bride again. So that's how I do things. With like little things like this, I might take. Oh, we'll pretend we'll pretend that we have a groom, and we'll make a little boutonniere or something. But with just like little pieces like this is how I'll make a boutonniere. Something like this. And truth be told, boutonnieres kind of stink because they just get smushed. But something like this. And maybe a little piece like this. And you just tape it all together. So, I'm finished with my demonstration, but I'm gonna come around, and if you guys have any questions, I just wanted to say, when you're building your little bud vases, those are so cute, girls. Good job. Don't feel like you wanna keep your stems really high or whatever, you wanna keep it really smaller, but any kind of design you wanna do is fine. I have this one for you here, actually. Yeah, this one. We'll make it work. But like you guys already designed, and it's so pretty. So if there's extra floral, please take it home and put it in your vases at home or whatnot, or build a couple or whatever. So it's always, I can't see you up there. It's too bright, so I get to see your pretty faces here. Hi. Good. How are you? Thank you. I'm finished, yes.
Thank you, Erin. Can everyone give Erin a round of applause?
Thanks. Thank you.
So grateful. Thank you so much. So you guys can continue making your arrangements. If you want to go look at the clothes and stuff, feel free. Have some fun.